Y'all, I just paid over $6.50 for premium fuel for my turboed Miata, and I have had it. Now, here at Edmunds, we've driven all the most efficient cars on the road, and we can tell you which ones are actually worth buying, so let's have a look. We're Edmunds, and we test hundreds of cars each year on the road and at our private track, so you get the most trusted reviews. If you want to know which car, truck, or SUV is the best, then stick with us. Now, if you want a small, affordable daily driver that still has some cargo space for the occasional IKEA run, a subcompact SUV makes a lot of sense. These typically top out at around 30 miles per gallon, but there are a couple that go above and beyond. The Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid. Now, this is a perfectly fine little car that gets all the basics right, including accessible pricing and decent tech. Now, if we're looking at the whole segment, like we did in our big old 9 SUV comparison, this car's rivals have more space, better materials, and unique features that make them, well, better all around. But none of them are touching the Toyota's 42 miles per gallon. If you're in the market for a Corolla Cross or any other car, truck, or SUV on our list, we've got tools on the site to help you figure out just what you should pay. Now, for the rest of the video, when you see any of those numbers on the screen, we calculated those numbers based on the same 55-45 city highway split and 15,000 miles a year that's used by the EPA, as well as the national average price of fuel, which at the time of this writing was $3.99 for a gallon of regular gasoline. I would die for that here in California. All right, back to the show. If you want the most efficient small crossover, it's the Kia Niro. Almost 50 miles per gallon makes it one of the most efficient vehicles on sale. Plus, it's our second favorite option for a small, affordable daily driver with decent cargo space. You get some great high-end features on higher trims, too. The only caveat is that you cannot get one with all-wheel drive. And this video is brought to you by Bumper.com. Get an AI-powered summary of a vehicle history report that is simple and to the point. With just a VIN or license plate number, learn about a car's history quick. To learn more, visit Bumper.com/Edmunds. Now, compact SUVs are kind of perfect for most people. It's big enough to move furniture or handle road trips, but small enough that they're easy to park and efficient enough that they don't cost much to run. And these are the most efficient of the bunch. The Kia Sportage Hybrid is our favorite of these cars and one of the most efficient. It combines a smooth ride with tons of space and storage, solid tech, and good driver assists, plus Kia's great warranty. The only downside is that it's not quite as efficient as other competing hybrids, and if you want the one that gets more than 35 miles per gallon, you need to buy a front-wheel drive base model with no adaptive cruise control, and you get fabric seats. If you want all-wheel drive, the fuel economy isn't anywhere close to our most efficient pick in the segment. The Toyota RAV4 doesn't quite match the interior space or the value that you get in the Kia, but every version of this car, other than the off-roady Woodland model with its chunky tires, they all get 41 miles per gallon or better. The gas mileage is great, but we also really like the Toyota's tech and the interior storage solutions. It's a smart all-around pick if a car like this fits your lifestyle and you prioritize efficiency. Looking at equivalent all-wheel drive trims, you'll save around $250 a year over a Sportage. And as always, if you want to see our full reviews and segment ratings of any of these cars, we've got it all on the site. There's a link in the description. Now, the mid-size 3-row SUV is the one you get when a RAV4 won't cut it and a Tahoe is way too big and thirsty. Not that they're all that efficient. A lot of these get gas mileage in the low 20s, but not these two. You can get 35 miles per gallon in a Telluride now because Kia recently debuted the first redesign of its now iconic 3-row SUV, and they made some changes under the hood. The new turbocharged hybrid has more power and torque than the old V6, and the efficiency numbers are great. And we also really like this car. It placed right behind the marginally less efficient Hyundai Palisade hybrid in our 9 SUV comparison test. It's stylish, it's got tons of features, and as much space as anything else in the segment. The only downside is that if you want all-wheel drive, you're not going to get more than 31 miles per gallon. But you can in the Toyota Grand Highlander. Even with all-wheel drive, you get 34 miles per gallon, and this car is right behind the Telluride in our ratings. The interior is huge, the ride is comfortable, and there are loads of little cubbies and slots for water bottles, phones, and keys. We wish the hybrid had a little bit more power, but if you want to trade some efficiency for some oomph, go for the Hybrid Max. That's more powerful than any other 3-row SUV, and it still gets 27 miles per gallon. Now, the Grand Highlander isn't as stylish or as feature-rich as the Hyundai Kia cousins, but this is still a great pick for a 3-row SUV. Oh, and Toyota wears the efficiency crown in the minivan space too. The Sienna gets at least 35 miles per gallon even with all-wheel drive, and the space and the amenities inside make it our favorite sliding door family hauler. But some folks might need a little more utility, and you could get a tiny pickup. The Ford Maverick is a great option. No other truck comes close to this little thing's fuel economy. Now, it can feel a little plasticky and cheap in ways, but we love the Maverick's city-friendly dimensions and accessible starting price. Plus, the only other compact pickup maxes out at just 25 miles per gallon, so the Maverick's fuel economy is outstanding. In fact, we liked it so much, we bought one for our 1-year road test fleet. Now, for those that need more towing and hauling and off-road capability, the Toyota Tacoma is one of our favorite mid-size trucks. It's nice that you can get a few cab and bed combos, the off-road capability is really robust, and the tech is easy to use. That said, it has a smaller backseat and a lot more road noise than our favorite mid-size pickup, which happens to be similarly efficient. Now, neither of these trucks are all of that efficient in the grand scheme of things, but 23 miles per gallon, not counting the Ranger Raptor, of course, is a pretty good number for a ride-sized truck with a comfortable ride, a nice interior, and advanced tech. We've towed and hauled plenty with this thing too, because we had one as part of the 1-year road test fleet, and this is a great do-it-all truck for a lot of buyers. But if you really need a workhorse, a full-size truck is going to be your best bet, and the GMC Sierra and Chevy Silverado 1500 are the most efficient options that you can get, but there is a catch. Now, these aren't our favorite trucks overall because some rivals just have nicer interiors, better ride quality, and superior value. Now, if you get your GM pickup with the optional turbo diesel inline 6, you can get up to 25 miles per gallon. The problem is, because the national average price of diesel is so far above the cost of gas, you'll be spending more on fuel than you would in our slightly less efficient top pick. The Ford F-150 is our favorite full-size pickup, and if you go for the hybrid V6, our recommended engine, you should average around 23 miles per gallon. And the Ford F-150 is almost everything we'd want in a full-size truck. It's hugely capable, supremely spacious, and more comfortable. Now, 23 miles per gallon is hardly Greta Thunberg levels of efficiency, but for a truck like this, it's excellent. But if you really care about efficiency and you don't need the extra space of an SUV or a truck, regular old cars are gonna be your best bet. Now, for something small and affordable, it's really hard to go wrong with the Hyundai Elantra. The mileage is terrific, and it's rare to find a compact sedan like this with so many high-end features. And it's pretty spacious for a car this small as well. The Elantra Hybrid can feel a little sluggish at times, and some of the interior materials feel cheap, but this is a great little fuel-sipping option. Good to drive, exceptionally fuel efficient, and packed with features, the 2026 Hyundai Elantra Hybrid is the Elantra to get if maximizing the distance between fuel stops is important. Now, the interior could benefit from nicer materials, but even as it is, this hybrid sedan makes a strong case for itself. And we like it a little bit better than the Prius overall. But that car is synonymous with hybrids and fuel economy, and it's the most efficient car on our list. The Toyota Prius has exceptional fuel economy, and it's actually enjoyable to drive with none of the power and efficiency that we notice in the Hyundai. Our only major complaint is that the back seat is tight for taller passengers, and the engine is kind of noisy under acceleration. But this is the best Prius that has ever Priused our streets. Go for the base trim with smaller, lighter wheels to hit that crazy 57 miles per gallon mark. But our favorite compact hybrid is the Honda Civic. It's better to drive, and it's nicer inside than the others, and at this level of efficiency, plus or minus a couple of miles per gallon, it doesn't really matter as much for annual cost or emissions as it does for some of the trucks and SUVs. Now, for a lot of buyers, the Civic's interior and day-to-day practicality is gonna be worth it. Now, none of these three are especially spacious in the backseat or in the trunk. If space is important to you, the Hyundai Sonata Hybrid is nearly as efficient as the compact options, and it is a strong value for the money. It's got some distinctive styling that you don't always see on cars at this price point, plus it's got great tech. But we think the Toyota Camry is the best option for a mid-size sedan right now. Now, higher trims with all-wheel drive and bigger, heavier wheels don't match the Hyundai's fuel economy, but this car's definitely worth your attention. excellent efficiency is paired with a roomy interior, tons of great standard driver's assist, and enough character from behind the wheel to avoid feeling boring. So if you like a Prius, but you need a little bit more room, the Camry is pretty perfect. And that's the list! You can like and subscribe as always if you find our videos helpful, if you like my Argyle sweater vest and you want to help us out, just hit those like and subscribe buttons. It's the best way to do it. And let us know in the comments if there's anything we missed, if you have an efficient car that you recommend, or if you have any ideas for future videos. I read every single comment. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.